If I may have your attention, please. At this time, we're going to begin the funeral services here in our chapel for Miss Gail Barbara Feingold. As we begin the service, I would ask if any of you might have a cell phone or any other noise-making device, please turn them off at this time. Officiating the service here today is Cantor Joanna Lind, and the cantor will begin the service assisting the family in the ancient tradition of Kriya. If I could ask the family members wearing ribbons to please stand together at this time.
Welcome, dear family and friends. We are here today to say farewell to Gail Barbara Feingold, beloved daughter of the late Harvey and the late Laura Feingold, loving sister and sister-in-law of Gary and Edward, Gerald and Jackie, Marla and Alan, Sharon and Vince, dear aunt of Farah, Valerie, Charles, Stacy and William, Corey and Matt, Emma and Tyler, Ben and Jordan and Barbie, loved by many great nieces and nephews, cherished as a cousin and a fond friend to many. We gather in remembrance and love, finding comfort in community. Let us begin by reading together in our booklets the 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Let none of you weep for me, especially you with whom I've smiled, nor bow down your head in utter grief. Put on no mourning as if the pall induces forgetfulness and conceals all we've done together. Say not that I have died, that this is death. Say rather that I have lived, enjoying each mortal breath. I learned, labored, and wrought what my hands fought to do. I sought in my quest to raise to a nobler height. My life was blessed in the living, and my death hallowed because of giving. Life to me was a challenge, and I was happy so to live. Gail Barbara Feingold was born in Chicago on July 20th, 1952, to Harvey and Laura Feingold. As a child, she had some educational and life challenges, but she persevered, thanks not only to special education classes in school, but largely to wonderful parents who advocated for her and did a phenomenal job raising her. Contrary to these difficulties, Gail had fantastic social skills and made friends easily everywhere she went throughout her life. Her childhood dog for 17 years, Tinker Bell, was also an important companion. Even though her beloved poodle crossed the Rainbow Bridge in 1979, Gail always had a picture of Tinker on her dresser and talked to him often. She completed a high school education and continued living with her parents in Skokie until about 1997. As an adult, Gail worked for many years in the mailroom at the Chicago Jewish Federation downtown, where she was highly valued and well known by most other staff, many of whom became dear friends. Her parents encouraged her to travel and see the world, and she enjoyed many trips, including to Europe, to Mexico for her brother's wedding, Hawaii, California, and Las Vegas. She also enjoyed bowling and made many friends there as well. She loved the Chicago Cubs and was blessed to see them finally win the World Series in her lifetime. Gail was a very special aunt. She was a cheerleader for all her nieces and nephews. She thought they were the most beautiful people, and it was the same with her great nieces and great nephews. She knew everyone's birthdays and liked to celebrate her birthday especially. When anyone was going to turn an important age on every year that ended in a 0 or a 5, when she saw them, she would say, "Someone has a big birthday coming up." She liked to give presents too, and liked getting presents herself, especially from Gary. Between work and bowling, Gail was truly blessed to meet so many people who became good friends, and these friends were very important to her. When she retired, the Federation had a big party to celebrate her. She was proud to have worked there, and toward the end, she even hid that she was sick so she could continue working. But unfortunately, she needed more care. For the last 7 years, Gail has lived at CJE Senior Life, where she has been cared for during her health issues. Gail passed away yesterday, January 2nd, 2025, at the age of 72. She will be missed by all who knew and loved her. But if we continue to love the one we lose, we never lose the one we love. So we say thank you, Gail, for the good you put into the world while you were here with us. We hope you are now restored to wholeness and at perfect peace. You will be so missed, but your memory will be treasured. I now invite Gail's siblings to say a few words and share some memories.
Thank you all for coming. It's great to see so many friends and colleagues through the years paying tribute to Gail. My name is Gary Belkin, and I'm so proud to be a member of this family. Technically, I'm not a sibling. I'm a first cousin to, in descending order of age, Gail, Jerry Feingold, Marla Giblickman, and Sharon Ranzino. But we really all grew up together as siblings. I, being by far the oldest, had the honor of serving at the ring bearer at the wedding of their parents, Laura and Harvey, which was officiated by Cantor Joanna Lind's grandfather, Cantor Dale Lind. We have remained an exceptionally close family all these years. We are siblings who not only love one another, but we all really like each other. It's truly a special bond. So it is with great pride that we stand here together to celebrate the life of our exceptional sister Gail, who blossomed as an adult, charmed all she met with her welcoming smile, her winning personality, and her amazing, amazing people skills. The message that was emailed to everybody at the Jewish Federation today said, and I quote, "Gail worked in the mailroom for 28 years until her retirement in 2018. Gail's outgoing demeanor was present every day as she delivered the mail and packages throughout the building. We were all touched by Gail's friendliness and interest in everyone she came to know. She loved her work at JUF and was a cherished colleague and friend to everyone who knew her." Gail was not just my cousin, she was my friend. We often went to dinner together after work. We both worked in downtown Chicago. She and I went to dinner often. She and I went to Cubs games together, where she recited to me every statistic imaginable and let me know in no uncertain terms what they needed to do to improve. And she was my opera buddy. We often went to the Lyric Opera together, where she was enthralled with the spectacle. After I moved from Chicago about 10 years ago, on each of my Chicago visits, she and I would spend the day at Old Orchard together, where we had lunch, and she introduced me and my credit card to Vera Wang purses, fragrant oils and lotions, Mario Tricosi gift certificates, and most importantly, to the sports shop that sold Cubs sweatshirts. So Gail has proved something that is sort of amazing. She's proved that you can take it with you. She is wearing her favorite jeans and, of course, her Cubs sweatshirt. So rest in peace, please, my sister and friend.
I'm Jerry Feingold. I'm Gail's younger brother. I don't have as much to say as Gary did. Gail was just a special person. The words that always come to me is perseverance. Whatever roadblock was ever put in her way, she found a way to overcome it. I think we all learned so much from Gail and how to deal with life when things were thrown us a curveball. Gail and I spent much time talking about the Cubs, and more recently, how bad the Bears were. There's too many memories that are out there. She loved being an aunt, and would always ask me about my daughter and my other children and my grandchildren, and they were always important to her. I think sometimes people could have said that Gail would act as a princess, but that is of no fault than us standing up here and my parents.
I'm Marla Giblickman, one of Gail's younger sisters, of course. Gail was loved and unconditionally loved by her parents. Over the years, as Gail's challenges and learning disabilities became apparent, they worked hard to make sure she got the education she deserved, so she would live a full life of work and friends and hobbies, just like her siblings. Gail's life far exceeded all their dreams for her. She worked 28 years in the mailroom, is what was said, in JUF, and she just loved it. She was immensely proud of her job, and she had the same things as her siblings. She had a job she loved, she had health insurance, she had a retirement fund so that we could all talk about all these things. She had something in common with us. And in our family, because of our grandparents, voting was a big deal. Voting was a privilege that you didn't take for granted. Gail always voted. In these last 8 years, she voted. And she talked a lot about her very strong opinions on who was best. She spent many years bowling on Thursday nights. That was a huge part. She made many friends through bowling, later becoming the women who played mahjong. Though Gail didn't play, she spent many evenings at Janie's to socialize while they played. Janie would pick her up and would make sure one of the ladies drove Gail home. Everyone should have a wonderful friend in their life like Janie. 7 years ago, when Gail retired and moved to Robino, it was a new chapter in her life. She started dialysis 3 days a week, and it was good she would come home to the many friends at Robino. She grew to love living there and made many friends who were so important to her. She enjoyed having lunch and dinner with a group of people, always someone to talk to. Her most recent friends would have been Eddie and Dottie and Steve, and I'm sure I'm leaving people out, but she loved it. These last weeks when Gail was so sick, we spent a lot of time looking back on her life. She had wonderful memories of our cousins growing up, Donna, Roberta, Michael, and Jeffrey. She remembered all their birthdays, just as she did for Gary, Jerry, Sharon, and myself. We were all so proud of her, yet she was our sister, and as often happens with sisters and brothers, she made us a little crazy. And she was very stubborn and did not like telling her what to do. In return, she would probably say, we made her a little crazy, me in particular. Rest in peace, Gail. We love you.
I'm the youngest sister. I'm Sharon Ranzino, and I do not have anything written on paper today. I stayed up all night, and I put the pen down, and so I'll just speak from my heart very briefly. Unconditional love has been mentioned a couple of times, and Gail gave unconditional love, taught us all how to love more unconditionally. Gail adored her nieces and nephew. They were very special to her. And when I say she was a cheerleader, she would look at Val, she would look at Farah. They're the most beautiful women in the world, Emma and Stacy and Corey. And then little Chucky. She adored Chucky. And they all adored Aunt Gail. And as they had some children, she was like a cavelling grandma. And so my parents passed rather young, and Gail kind of took on that role of a grandma to them. And my husband, Vince, and Gail had a very, very special relationship, mainly because Vince was like, well, we would say, Gail, you're just not that special. And that just meant that Gail was going to be treated like everybody else at our house, and she loved that. And she adored my husband, and she adored his cooking. And I will miss my sister immensely. And I'm thankful for my siblings that are here.
Thank you all for sharing such beautiful words. We can all tell from that and also from our change to this larger chapel just how very loved and special Gail really was. If you would answer responsively, we remember her. At the rising of the sun and at its going down, we remember her. At the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, we remember her. At the opening of the buds and in the rebirth of spring, we remember her. At the blueness of the skies and in the warmth of summer, we remember her. At the rustling of the leaves and in the beauty of the autumn, we remember her. At the beginning of the year and when it ends, we remember her. When we are weary and in need of strength, we remember her. When we are lost and sick at heart, we remember her. When we have decisions that are difficult to make, we remember her. When we have joy we crave to share, we remember her. When we have achievements that are based on hers, we remember her. As long as we live, she too will live, for she is now a part of us as we remember her. I will lift up mine eyes unto the mountains, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and forevermore. It is now my solemn duty and my great honor to chant the El Mole Rachamim, the memorial prayer recited at all Jewish funerals, for Gail Barbara Feingold, who has departed this earthly realm and gone back to the One. El Mole Rachamim, Shochein Bamromim, Hamtzei Menucha Nechona, Al Kanfei HaShekhinah, B'ma'alot Kedoshim U'Tehorim, Kezohar Harakiyam Asirim, Et Nishmat Ganesha Bat Yitzchak V'Leah, Sheholcho L'Olamo, Bavur Shenadvu Tzedaka, Ba'ad Haskara Nishmasha, Began Eden Tehei Menuchato, Lochein Ba'al Harachamim, Yastirehu B'Seiter Kenofav L'Olamim, Bitrur HaChaim Et Nishmato, Adonai Hu Nachlato V'Hanuach Al Mishkavo V'Shalom V'Nomar Amen. Let us read the English together in our booklets. O God, full of compassion, thou who dwellest on high, grant perfect rest beneath the sheltering wings of thy presence among the holy and pure who shine as the brightness of the firmament unto the soul of Gail Barbara Feingold, who has gone unto eternity. Lord of mercy, bring her under the cover of thy wings, and let her soul be bound up in the bond of eternal life. Be God's possession, and may her repose be peace. Amen. Because not everyone can join us for the graveside service following this, I would also ask that we will say Kaddish during the internment, but I'd like to say Kaddish together now as well for those who can't join us. It's found on the back page of your booklets. Yikadal v'yikadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra chirute v'yamlich malchute, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv imru Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam ulalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar, v'yitalev, v'yitalel, shemei dekudasha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru. Amen. May the one who makes peace on high make peace for all the world. And we will say, Amen. May Gail's memory always be for a blessing, and may those who are bereaved find comfort. At this time, I'll invite Doug back up for a few announcements.
This concludes the service here in the chapel. The interment will take place immediately at the family's plots at Memorial Park Cemetery, 9900 Grosse Pointe Road here in Skokie. Following the service, beginning on Saturday from 5 until 8, the family will be sitting Shiva at the Giblickman residence, 1841 Lincoln Street in Evanston. That information's on the inside portion of the funeral service folder you should have received. If you did not receive one, they are available as you depart today. I'd also ask you to please take note below the Shiva information. The family has asked that memorial contributions be made to Keshet, CJE Senior Life, and the McHenry County Adult Program. Again, all of that information is on the service folder. For those of you watching the service online, all of this information is on the website you are currently on. For those of you going in procession with the family to the cemetery, the procession will form in our parking lot. Please make sure you have a funeral sticker, an orange funeral sticker in the front passenger side of your windshield. We would also ask that you please have your bright headlights and flashing hazard lights on at all times. For an additional measure of safety, our staff will be placing magnetic flags on the tops of the vehicles throughout the procession. As we drive in procession today, please drive as close as safety permits to the vehicle in front of you at all times. We want to avoid having any large spaces or large gaps in the procession, particularly as we pass through the intersections. The following individuals have been selected to act as pallbearers. As I call your name, if you please step forward. Farah Ranzino, Valerie Ranzino, Chuck Ranzino, Stacy Hoffman, Corey Agassi, Matt Agassi, and Emma Starrett. At this time, I would ask everyone to please rise as the deceased and family and cantor are escorted from the chapel. Thank you.